During the highly anticipated Manchester Derby on October 2, 2022, Sean Fox, accompanied by his uncle and 2 children, watched the game at the Donegal Celtic FC Social Club in West Belfast. As the atmosphere buzzed with excitement for the clash between Manchester United and Manchester City, led by Erik ten Hag, tension mounted. Unbeknownst to most, except Sean and his family, the event took a horrifying turn at 2:30 p.m. when 2 unidentified men, suspected to have ties to dissident groups, stormed the club and fatally shot Sean with 20 bullets, leaving witnesses shocked and emergency services unable to save him. The police, diligently investigating the incident, pursue various leads and strongly believe that several factions of dissident Republicans are responsible for Sean's tragic murder. Despite no official claims of responsibility, prior warnings from law enforcement about threats to Sean's life, linked to allegations of involvement with the Marbella crew, raised suspicions. Sean vehemently denied any association with drug dealing on Facebook in 2021, addressing rumors about his wealth and condemning those spreading falsehoods. While debate lingers over Sean's alleged ties to the Marbella crew, police assert this affiliation as the motive behind his targeted attack, citing similarities to other drug-related murders. Law enforcement maintains the involvement of the same groups in all 6 incidents, suggesting a coordinated effort. Sean Fox, according to law enforcement, was taken out by the Dissident death squad. Who were the other 5? Let's delve into it. If we go back to December 4, 2018, specifically around 3:30 p.m., we encounter the first incident linked to the series. Jim Donegan, purported to be a cocaine distributor and a close associate of Sean Fox, was waiting in his £80,000 Porsche outside St. Mary's Grammar School on Glen Road, West Belfast, to pick up his son. Leading up to this day, reports suggest that Jim had resisted pressure to increase his payments to local dissident groups operating in the area, which ultimately led to his targeted assassination. While several individuals have been apprehended in connection to Jim Donegan's murder, the actual shooter has yet to face formal charges from law enforcement. On the night of May 17, 2020, shortly after 10 p.m., Kieran Wiley, a 57-year-old former provisional IRA member, was mercilessly gunned down at his Lenadoon residence in West Belfast. In front of his 2 daughters, Two hooded attackers swiftly executed the assault, leaving a lifetime of trauma in their wake. Despite prompt emergency response, Kieran tragically succumbed to his injuries, having been shot in the torso and fatally in the head. 4 years earlier, Kieran's affiliation with the organization had waned after an arms cache discovery, leading to his sidelining, while an unrelated individual faced legal consequences for possession of the stash. As investigators followed the money trail linked to Kieran, he disclosed to detectives that he had been coerced at gunpoint into temporarily storing weapons, under the promise they would be retrieved within 6 weeks. Despite no concrete evidence of Kieran being a police informant, suspicions arose within his organization, exacerbated by a court case involving a senior figure, Robert O'Neill. O'Neill's sentencing, coupled with MI5 recordings implicating him in criminal activities, led to Kieran's official ties to the organization being documented. Consequently, an internal inquiry within the Dissident group identified Kieran as a police informant, sealing his fate. In the months leading up to his tragic murder, Kieran faced public accusations of being an informant, which he vehemently denied. Despite his efforts to defend himself, even engaging in direct confrontations with his organization to plead his innocence, his appeals were futile. As you know, he was ruthlessly murdered in front of his daughters. Police suspect that the perpetrators of Kieran's murder are the same individuals involved in the killings of both Sean and Jim. On June 27, 2020, at approximately 12:20 p.m., CCTV footage captured 28-year-old Warren Crossan being pursued by two gunmen near his mother's residence in Rodney Parade, West Belfast. These gunmen were seen riding bicycles around 8:30 a.m. at the junction of Falls Road and White Rock Road, not far from the murder scene, believed to have departed from the Turf Lodge estate about 40 minutes earlier in preparation for the attack. Upon Warren's emergence, the gunmen initiated pursuit, and as they reached St. Catherine's Road, he sustained multiple gunshot wounds, tragically perishing at the scene, believed to be retribution for his alleged involvement in orchestrating the assassination of Dublin crime boss Robbie Lawlor in Belfast 2 months prior. Lawlor's notoriety had garnered global attention in 2020 due to his association with the disappearance and murder of 17-year-old Keen Mulready Woods. As a result, Robbie had already been implicated in numerous homicides due to ongoing conflicts between his organization and rival factions. The discovery of Keen's dismembered remains across Ireland reverberated shockwaves throughout the nation. Robbie and Warren were loosely linked through mutual associates within the criminal underworld. An incident dating back to 2014 may have served as the impetus for Warren's involvement in the plot against Robbie. On Friday, April 18, 2014, at approximately 4:45 p.m., Warren's father, Tommy Crossan, leader of the Continuity IRA, was fatally shot near the Peter Pan Light Industrial Complex on Springfield Road in Belfast. Despite investigations, no one was ever convicted for his murder, but sources suggest that the assailants had ties to Robbie. Returning to the murder of Warren, the case remains unresolved. According to police, the individuals responsible for his killing are the same perpetrators behind the murders of Jim, Kieran, and Sean. Nearly a year after Warren's tragic demise, with 3 confirmed victims attributed to the assailants, the time was ripe for their next deadly strike. Around 8 p.m. on February 2, 2021, Daniel McLean was seated in the driver's seat of a red Audi Q2 parked in the driveway of a property on Cliftonville Road, North Belfast, when an assailant suddenly approached and shot him multiple times. Daniel was pronounced dead at the scene. Having served 5 years in the British Army before affiliating with a Republican group, Daniel had recently distanced himself from this organization amid allegations of being an informant. While the specific motive behind his murder remains uncertain, it's worth noting that he was killed while out on bail for firearms charges, suggesting a potential reason for him being a primary target. However, these are all allegations at this point. As of October 2022, Daniel's murder case remains unsolved, but police assert that the same individuals responsible for the murders of Jim, Kieran, Warren, and Sean are also implicated in Daniel's killing. Mark Hall, age 31, had been considering leaving his criminal life after the death of his friend Warren Crossan. Despite his intentions to turn over a new leaf following the birth of his daughter, his criminal connections continue to haunt him. Tragically, his hopes for a fresh start were shattered when 2 gunmen attacked his mother's residence near the site of his friend's murder, disrupting his Christmas holiday. The assailants opened fire, striking Mark multiple times and tragically ending his life. Family members, including children, were present during the attack, but thankfully they escaped physical harm. Mark's sister, returning from a nearby shop, witnessed the shooting and attempted to intervene. In a terrifying turn of events, one of the gunmen targeted her, pointing his weapon at her head before firing shots at her handbag and then fleeing the scene. Initially, speculations arose suggesting that Mark had been targeted due to his criminal background. However, following the public revelation of his threats toward Warren's killers, it became evident that the attack served as a stark message to anyone contemplating similar actions. It's been reported that Mark had been warned by the police about the possibility of an attack targeting him, although his reaction to this information remains unclear. Despite this warning, he likely disregarded it, as he continued to remain in the area where he could easily be located. As with every case we've discussed today, Mark's murder remains unsolved. However, law enforcement authorities maintain a strong belief that the individuals responsible for his killing are the same perpetrators behind the murders of Sean, Jim, Kieran, Warren, and Daniel. So, where does this leave us today? Currently, the police are actively pursuing the hitmen responsible for the 6 murders. Despite the authorities beginning to link the killings after Mark Hall's murder, it's evident that the hitmen are undeterred, as demonstrated by their audacious attack on Sean Fox in a crowded social club, where hundreds of witnesses were present. This brazenness indicates that they will strike again, even when the target is surrounded by potential witnesses. What we do know is that these hitmen are associated with either 1 or 2 dissident Republican groups. Despite arrests, no one has yet been formally charged in connection with these crimes. Concerns have been raised by associates of the victims, suggesting that individuals close to them may be providing information to the hitmen regarding their whereabouts. The nature of these meticulously planned executions lends credence to such suspicions. However, until these men are apprehended and brought to justice, it seems unlikely that their deadly operations will come to an end anytime soon. That's it for today's video. Please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.